The life you built might not actually be you. It took me a while, but that realization hit me hard. From the outside, everything looked like it was moving in the right direction. I was working in a career I had dreamed to have, recruiting in a corporate world that seemed to validate who I had always wanted to be, progressing and succeeding, doing what I thought I was supposed to do. But internally, something felt off, and I couldn't explain it. There's a point you can get to in life where everything looks right on paper. Your resume looks accomplished, and you reached a level where the hard work you put in seems to finally show that it all paid off. But something deeper doesn't sit right in your spirit, and it didn't sit right in mine. And instead of questioning it, you just keep going, which I did, because stopping feels like failure. So you keep building, you keep performing, you keep chasing what you thought would eventually make you feel complete. But here's the part nobody talks about. You can build an entire life around a version of yourself that was never actually rooted in who you really are. It can be built on expectations. It can be built on pressure. It can be built on comparison. Or just doing what you thought you had to do to simply get ahead. And it works for a while until it doesn't. Until you slow down just enough and you realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. That's where it hit me. Not in some dramatic moment, just sitting still long enough to feel it. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't grounded. I wasn't at peace. Increasingly feeling depressed and feeling burnout. And that's a scary place to be. Because now you're not just questioning your situation. You're questioning your identity. You start thinking, how did I get here? Why does this not feel right? Why do I feel so empty when everything around me looks fine? Like everything I worked hard for is around me. And the truth is, it's not always because you failed. Sometimes it's because you built something that was never meant to carry who you really are. And that realization can feel like everything is collapsing. But here's what I've come to understand. That collapse isn't destruction. It's more like it's exposure. It's God revealing that this maybe isn't you. Maybe it's His way of inviting you into who He created you to be. Because before He builds something real in you, He has to strip away what isn't. I feel like God did that for Jacob in his lifetime. In the book of Genesis, God took Jacob on a journey of a transformation of identity. And at the end of the process, Jacob became Israel. Jacob went from someone who tried to make things happen in his strength and timing, and through a process of purification, through trials and challenges, he became the man God had always created him to be. A transformation of identity can hit you like a brick wall. The things that once brought you joy, the work that once validated you, the conversations that you used to have, and the relationships or the social circles that you had made that you once felt complete in, now feel off. And you begin to feel like you've been living in the Truman Show the entire time. And that process doesn't feel good. It feels like confusion. It feels like loss. It feels like everything you were holding on to is simply slipping away. But what's actually happening is you're being separated. You're being separated from the identity you were never meant to live in. And that's where things start to shift. Not when everything comes together, but when you're finally honest enough to admit, this doesn't feel like me anymore. That's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is where rebuilding starts. Because once you stop pretending, once you stop performing, you finally create that space. Space for something real to be built. And it won't look the same. It won't feel the same. But it will actually be yours. Not something you're trying to live up to, but something you're grounded in. You know, over the past few years, I've found myself in that transformation of identity. And it was a real shock and awe. But when you understand you're finding your authentic self, the process is worth it. If anyone out there can relate to this, trust me, you're not alone. The life you built might not be you. But that doesn't mean you're lost. Have faith in God to lead you in the process. It might mean you're finally being rebuilt for His purposes in your life. It's just something to think about. Stay blessed.